Have you ever walked away from a conversation thinking, why didn't I say what I really meant? Why do others speak with such clarity while I struggle to find the right words? Why do some people command respect the moment they open their mouth, while I feel invisible? Here's the truth. Smart communication isn't a talent, it's a learnable skill. It's not about using big words or sounding intellectual. It's about knowing how to speak so your voice is heard, your message is clear, and your presence is felt, without raising your volume or pretending to be someone else. This audiobook isn't just about talking better. It's about unlocking your inner speaker, one that's powerful, authentic, and impossible to ignore. You'll learn how to speak with calm confidence, how to influence without manipulation, how to build trust, respect, and presence. One word at a time, so if you're ready to stop shrinking in silence, if you're ready to speak smart in meetings, interviews, relationships, and everyday life, then what you're about to hear could change everything. Because when you learn to speak smart, you don't just change how others hear you, you change how the world responds to you. Now, let's begin. Chapter 1. Why Speaking Smart Matters More Than Ever Imagine. Walking into a room filled with professionals, strangers, or potential opportunities. You haven't shown your resume. You haven't proven your skills. You haven't even sat down yet. Within the first 30 seconds of speaking, people have already made a judgment about your intelligence, your confidence, and your credibility. That's the silent truth of human interaction. The way you speak creates your perceived identity long before your actions do. This isn't just a theory, it's backed by science. Studies at Princeton University have revealed that people form impressions of others in milliseconds based on voice, tone, clarity, and word choice. In a world driven by fast communication, your voice has become your signature, and how smart you sound often decides whether doors open or remain shut. Speaking smart isn't about using big words or sounding robotic. It's about speaking with a clarity, structure, and confidence that makes others trust you, respect you, and want to listen more. Every time you speak, you're either building credibility or slowly losing it. Think about the most powerful leaders in history. Barack Obama, Steve Jobs, Malala Yousafzai, Martin Luther King Jr. They weren't just smart, they knew how to speak smart. They knew when to pause, what stories to tell, and how to command attention without shouting. Their voices carried weight, not because of volume, but because of intention. Now more than ever, this matters. We live in a noisy world. Social media, video calls, reels, short attention spans, quick decisions. People scroll, people swipe, people judge fast. In a world full of noise, the smart speaker stands out like a lighthouse. Whether you're in a job interview, on a date, giving a presentation, recording a video, or just having a conversation, how you speak creates impact. If you speak smart, you're trusted. If you sound vague, distracted, or unconfident, people tune out. It's that simple. Let's take a real-life example. Two candidates walk into a job interview. Both have the same qualifications, but one speaks in a scattered way, using filler words, jumping from thought to thought. The other one speaks with clarity, frames every response with structure, and uses real examples. Who gets hired? The one who speaks smart. Why? Because clarity builds trust, and trust leads to decisions. But here's the good news. Speaking smart is not a talent. It's a skill. And skills can be learned, practiced, and mastered. You don't have to be born a great speaker. You don't need a perfect accent. You don't need a high IQ. You just need a mindset of growth, some powerful techniques, and a willingness to show up. Speaking smart is a superpower, not just in public speaking, but in everyday life. It helps you resolve conflict without escalation. It helps you pitch ideas with impact. It helps you connect deeply with others. And most of all, it helps you feel confident in your own voice. In this audiobook, you'll learn how to use your voice to reflect your intelligence, influence, and authenticity. You'll discover tools to improve your vocabulary without sounding fake. You'll learn how to think before you speak, listen before you answer, and speak with both heart and logic. You'll unlock the patterns that great communicators use and how you can make them your own. This journey isn't just about speaking better. It's about becoming a person who thinks clearly, listens deeply, and speaks wisely. So as we begin, I invite you to ask yourself, What if the way you speak could change your future? What if speaking smart isn't about impressing others, but about expressing your best self? Are you ready to sound as intelligent as you truly are? Because your voice already has power. Now let's help it speak smart. Chapter 2: The Science of Sounding Intelligent. What makes someone sound smart? Is it their vocabulary, their grammar, their accent? Surprisingly, it's none of those alone. It's something deeper: how the brain reacts to sound, structure, and delivery. Neuroscience shows that people are drawn to certain speech patterns, not because they're complex, but because they're clear, rhythmic, and emotionally grounded. When someone speaks smart, your brain lights up. Not because they use big words, but because they make meaning easy to absorb. Researchers from the University of California discovered that the human brain prefers organized language, delivered in a steady rhythm with natural pauses. Think about your favorite TED Talk. The speaker likely didn't rush or mumble. They had control. They paced their thoughts. They emphasized key words. They made you feel understood. That's not magic, it's science. The brain finds clarity comforting. So when you speak with a rhythm, pausing for effect, lowering your tone at the right moments, using short, punchy sentences, you create mental music that keeps people hooked. And here's another insight. According to a Harvard study, people who speak with a slightly slower, deliberate pace are perceived as more intelligent and trustworthy than those who speak rapidly. It's not about dragging your words. It's about giving your message room to breathe. Smart speakers respect silence. They know a pause is not empty. It's powerful. A well-timed pause after a bold statement allows the listener's brain to process and feel its weight. I believe in you. Pause. Even when you don't. That pause changes everything. Now, let's talk. Tone. Your tone tells the listener how to feel about what you're saying. Say "I'm fine" in a flat tone and it sounds dull. Say it with warmth and it feels reassuring. The smart speaker doesn't just deliver information, they shape emotional experience. Tone is how you wrap your message. If your words are the gift, your tone is the wrapping paper. And we all know we judge the gift by how it's wrapped. But even more powerful than tone is intentional emphasis. When you slightly stress a word, say it with more energy or volume, it tells the brain, this matters. For example, listen to the difference. I never said she stole the money. Now shift the emphasis. I never said she stole the money. Feels different, right? One sentence, multiple meanings. Smart speakers know how to guide the listener's focus just by how they emphasize. Let's not forget non-verbal sound. Your sighs, breaths, vocal inflection. These subtle audio signals create emotion. If you sound rushed, people feel tense. If you speak calmly, people relax. Smart communication is not just about what you say. It's about how your message feels when it hits the listener's ears. Take Martin Luther King Jr. His famous "I Have a Dream" speech wasn't genius just because of the words. It was the cadence, the tone, the energy. He didn't speak at people. He spoke through them. His voice had conviction, rhythm, and emotion. He could have said the same message in a monotone voice, and it wouldn't have changed history. The science also shows that our brains reward clarity with dopamine, the feel-good chemical. When someone explains something in a way we easily understand, we literally feel good about them. That's why some people become instant favorites in conversation. They give your brain what it craves: clarity, confidence, and emotional alignment. So what can you do? Start with these 3 smart speaker habits. Slow down just a bit. Give your message space. Let each sentence land before jumping to the next. Emphasize your keywords. Don't flatten your message. Highlight what matters. Use your tone like a highlighter. Respect the pause. Don't fear silence. Use it to build attention, tension, or reflection. A pause after a strong line makes it unforgettable. Smart speech is not about sounding like a professor. It's about triggering trust and clarity in the listener's mind. The more the brain enjoys your speech pattern, the more it labels you as intelligent, credible, and charismatic. The power is already in your voice. You just need to shape it with awareness. In the next chapter, we'll unlock the art of vocabulary, how to use simple, smart words that make you sound intelligent without sounding fake. Get ready to remove fluff and add power to your language. Because sounding smart isn't about showing off, it's about showing up with clarity, connection, and confidence. Signs you are trapped in the multitasking illusion. You have a dozen tabs open, but no real work getting done. You can't get through a single chapter of a book without reaching for your phone. You feel exhausted at the end of the day, but have nothing to show for it. Your most important work feels like a distant dream. This isn't a personal failing, it's a system error. Your mind isn't broken, it's just being shattered by a lie. The truth is, to achieve anything meaningful, you must give it the gift of your undivided attention. One task at a time, one conversation at a time, one thought at a time. Focus is not a weakness. It is the ultimate competitive advantage. Chapter 5. Weapon 5. Noise Addiction. Why you are terrified of silence. If you cannot sit with the quiet of your own mind, you will never truly hear what it's trying to tell you. Silence was once the default state of humanity. There were moments of quiet reflection, while walking, waiting, working. But now silence is an emergency. The moment a conversation ends, a video stops, or a task is completed, we instinctively reach for a device. We fill the space with music, with podcasts, with scrolling, with noise. We no longer just consume noise, we use it as a shield against ourselves. This is not comfort. This is an addiction. Why your brain is scared of silence. Your mind operates in two primary states, an active state for focused tasks and a default mode network for internal processing, reflection, and creative thought. Your best ideas, your deepest emotional insights, and your moments of self-discovery are almost always born in the default mode. But constant noise and stimulation block this network from activating. Without silence, your inner world remains a chaotic, unprocessed mess. You are not listening to your thoughts. You are running from them. Story: The Composer's Secret. A famous composer was asked how he created such beautiful, complex melodies. He said, "I spend the first hour of every morning in absolute silence. I don't listen to music. I listen to the space between the notes." The interviewer asked, "What do you hear?" The composer replied, "At first I hear the noise of the world, but if I wait long enough, I finally start to hear my own music." Symptoms of noise addiction. You cannot perform a simple task like washing dishes without a podcast or video playing. You feel anxious or restless in a quiet room. You fill every moment of downtime with your phone. You are afraid of what you might think if you're left alone without a distraction. This isn't just a quirk. This is a mind that has been trained to fear itself. What silence gives you back? Unprocessed emotions can finally surface. Hidden creative ideas can connect. Your true anxieties can be identified. Your deepest desires can be heard. You finally meet the person underneath all the noise, yourself. But you can only meet them if you're willing to turn everything else off. The truth is, a life filled with noise will keep you distracted. A life that embraces silence will make you whole. Silence is not empty. It is full of answers. Chapter 6. Weapon 6. Shallow consumption. The erosion of deep thought. The problem isn't that you've become less intelligent. The problem is that your mind has been retrained away from the depths and towards the shallows. Think about it. You used to be able to get lost in a book for hours. Now you skim headlines. You used to be able to write a thoughtful email. Now your thoughts feel like a collection of bullet points. You click on an article and your thumb starts twitching to scroll to the end before you've even read the first paragraph. This is not just a lack of focus. It is a fundamental loss of depth. You have been conditioned to consume information like mental fast food. It's quick, it's easy, it's entertaining, and it's ultimately unsatisfying. But real mastery, true clarity, and groundbreaking creativity are not fast food. They are a slow-cooked meal. They require time, friction, and sustained effort. Shallow consumption systematically rewires your brain to reject all three. How shallow consumption weakens your mind. Every time you consume a short video, a meme, or a hot take, your brain gets a tiny hit of dopamine. It feels like you're learning, but you're actually just being stimulated. You're snacking on information instead of eating a real intellectual meal. Story: The Tourist and the Explorer. A tourist visits 10 countries in 10 days. He takes a selfie in front of each famous landmark, collects the souvenirs, and rushes to the next destination. He has seen everything, but he has understood nothing. An explorer, on the other hand, spends 10 days in one single remote village. She learns the language, listens to the stories of the elders, and understands the culture from the inside out. The tourist collected pictures, the explorer gained wisdom. That is the difference between shallow consumption and deep learning. What? Shallow consumption robs you of critical thinking. You start accepting information without questioning it. Deep memory. Information never moves from short-term to long-term memory. Emotional intelligence. You're exposed to outrage and emotion, but don't have the time to process it with nuance. Originality. You begin to regurgitate the opinions you consume instead of generating your own. Signs your mind is stuck in the shallows. You watch a 2-hour movie and can't remember any character's name the next day. You feel like you're consuming content all day but have no new, original thoughts to show for it. You constantly feel a low-grade anxiety that you should know more, despite being online all the time. You jump from one topic to another without ever finishing one. This is not a failure of intellect. This is a failure of diet. It is a mental erosion that happens one click at a time. The truth is, your attention is the soil in which your thoughts grow. Do not waste it on seeds that bear no fruit. Shallow content is designed to comfort you, not to challenge you. And anything that only comforts you will ultimately weaken you. Real power is forged in deep, focused, and sustained thought. Chapter 7. Weapon 7. External validation. The algorithm that trains you to perform instead of think. If you live for the applause, you will die by the silence. You are no longer creating. You are performing. You craft a post, you hit send, you wait, you refresh. How many likes? Did anyone comment? Did it get a share? You are no longer writing to express. You are writing to impress. You are no longer speaking to connect. You are speaking to be approved. And slowly, without you even noticing, your mind transforms from a private sanctuary into a public stage. The I. Applause. Algorithm. Social media does not reward truth. It rewards what is momentarily popular. The controversial take, the perfectly curated photo, the agreeable opinion. You slowly stop thinking for yourself and start thinking for the algorithm. And it's a powerful addiction, because your brain is wired to seek social approval, and a like is a digital dose of that approval. But there is a heavy price to pay. You begin to sand down the edges of your own soul just to make it fit into the feed. Story: The Sculptor's Choice. A sculptor was once asked by a wealthy patron to change a statue to make it more pleasing to the public. The sculptor refused. The patron was furious and said, "But no one will like it." The sculptor replied, "Then they will not like my work. But if I change it to please them, then I will not like my work. I would rather have the respect of myself than the applause of a crowd that does not understand." Signs you are trapped in the validation loop. You second-guess your own thoughts before sharing them, wondering how they will perform. You find your mood being dictated by the number of likes or comments you receive. You feel a strange emptiness after a post goes viral because the applause feels hollow. You stop creating things for the joy of creation and start creating things only for the reaction. This doesn't just apply to creators, it applies to all of us. The digital world trains us to believe that if something is not seen, it does not have value. But that is the biggest lie of all. What you sacrifice when you chase only applause. Original thought, you start to echo what is safe and popular. Personal growth, you avoid risks and stay within your comfort zone. Creative freedom, you become a prisoner to the expectations of your audience. You become a reflection, not a source. Your attention is permanently turned outwards, seeking validation instead of inwards, where true growth and self-discovery happen. When you try to be everything to everyone, you become nothing to yourself. Your mind is not a product to be marketed. It is a garden to be cultivated. And a garden needs quiet, authentic care, not the harsh glare of a permanent spotlight. The more you try to impress, the less impressive you become to yourself.